Blizzard developers have commented that they will likely be making adjustments to Sunken Temple for the average Joes, as it has still not been fully cleared, making it one of the most difficult raids thus far in Classic. The new Sunken Temple raid is so hard that nobody has cleared it. Like, these guys, they play the game as like a fucking job. They know everything about the fucking game.
Look at this shit.
210,000 health.
A normal trash mob has more HP than the fucking bosses of Gnomergan, dude. And this boss down here, this guy, has 4 million HP.
You know who has 4 million HP? Patchwork. In Naxxramas. It is nuts. Ragnaros has 1 million HP. He has actually, I think it's 1.1 million. How do you remember that? Because I didn't forget it. Autism? Yeah, sure. I mean, that's a good answer too. So, like, if you have these guys that are going in with a stacked arcane mage group with, like, all of these priests that are probably one of the more effective healers in the raid, and they're going in there with buffs and everything like that, and they're struggling on the boss, imagine the average Andy. Imagine the family dad. Imagine the guy who has a career coming back and never being able to do the raid. This is not pug friendly. It's not. And Season of Discovery, I don't think that it's intended for these like super hardcore players. Did they even test this? Probably not. This is the kill for one of the bosses, okay? Let's take a look at it. There's 8 people dead already. There it is. And you look at it, right? And you have to keep in mind, every single player in this group is like extremely good. Nobody in this group sucks. There's nobody who's like bad. Now, obviously, are they the greatest players that the game has ever known? No, probably not. But they are very good players, and they know what they're doing. We're going to look at just a couple of attempts on this fight. Okay, here we go. This has ass. 3.94 million. Again, the same health as Patchwork in Naxxramas. You see there's a debuff that's going off. Damage taken, and this debuff is ticking for seemingly 2,000 damage. Maybe a little bit less. I'm just looking at damage taken by spell. Look at this. The DPS. Look at the damage. The boss still isn't even under 90% health. 4 million health. This is crazy.
Well, I think we both used Shamrush same time. That's why my mana was so good.
You know what this reminds me of? How many of y'all have played a new game recently and you played it on the hardest difficulty mode and it was like, you know, a Ubisoft game or some bullshit like that? And their idea of hard difficulty is, oh, everything does twice as much damage and it has 10 times as much health. And if you want to kill something, the small mobs take 5 headshots and then they die. That's it. It's like, remember Blizzard? So whenever Diablo 3 came out, there was the Inferno, which was like the hardest mode of the game. And Blizzard said they tried it and they did it to the level that all of the testers, like, they couldn't do it any higher than that. And then Blizzard just straight up doubled it. They said, okay, well, the players are even better than we are, so we're just going to multiply health, damage, and everything by 2. Fuck you. And the servers didn't work. So you see that, look at this damage, and they've already done 500,000 damage. And you can assume also the people that are playing this right now, these are very good players. None of these people are just, like, all of these people have their monitor turned on. I can promise you, they all at least have the monitor turned on. I'm not saying they're the greatest players in the game, but these people know what the hell they're doing. Are you sure? Yeah, I think so. Look at this. This is crazy. Oh, you've got the ads coming out too? I guess maybe all the ads have to die before this this cast ends. Okay.
I got picked up. I got sent up.
Eternal Slumber. This seems like a cast that's bad if it goes off.
Yeah, come up around.
Yeah, this seems like a really bad cast. Yeah, that was fast camera movement. So yes, the monitor's on. Yeah. You watch the... Yeah, you watch that video. And then he puts the debuff on everybody, and now everybody has to group up right after the knockback, I'm assuming. That's why he had to stop moving in order to spam chain heal.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I've never... This is my first time seeing the fight, so like, I really don't know what I'm talking about. So if I get a couple of things wrong, you know, it is what it is. I'm just guessing.
And save one for later.
That mana regen? Yeah, I don't know if he used a potion there or not. So you can see this guy is just like... They've been going hard on this boss for like 3 minutes. He's still only at 60% health. For context, every single classic WoW boss, even with no world buffs, would be dead by now, basically. Besides maybe 2 or 3. And that's at a level 40... It's in a 40-man level 60 raid. 2 shamanistic rages for regen mana? Oh, okay. Maybe because of gear? No, it's not because of gear. So the reason why I know it's not because of gear is because I know how much the gear is going to give you. The gear will make everybody else do more damage, but the odds are that these guys probably have decent gear. Like, the gear is not going to be awful. And realistically, the people that are going to be going into this raid at the beginning will be able to clear it. And also, like, here, I want to keep one thing in mind. Do y'all remember back whenever... Black Temple, this is like such a, like, this is something that only a loser would remember. But like 18 years ago or something, maybe 17 years ago, Blizzard released like WoW into like China, and like the Burning Crusade came out in China, and like the first Chinese guild killed Illidan. And they posted a screenshot of their guild killing Illidan. And you had multiple people in tier 3. These guys had tier 3 armor. They had Nax gear. And they killed Illidan. That's good. That means the gear that you earned was meaningful. It mattered. It was good gear. That's good, yeah. I think that's awesome.
Please.
Eight arcane mages out of 25 people? No, you're thinking of Spine of Deathwing. That was only 13 years ago. So the gear isn't worth the difficulty? Well, it's not really about the gear. It's that gear is not a defining... Like, whenever these guys... here, let me make one thing clear. I think that this raid is probably doable if every single player in this raid has every single best-in-slot piece of gear, and they're fully buffed and fully consumed, and they know everything to do, and they execute it perfectly. I think that this raid is probably doable. However, the best players playing at the highest level with the best gear and every enchant with no mistakes on Discord at the same time that have played the game for 15 years should not be the fucking benchmark that you should make a raid in Classic WoW for. Sorry.
Maybe he's casting during the... Yeah.
That's a low bar. Yeah, it's too sweaty. It is. It's way too sweaty. I don't want this to be retail. And again, I think that Blizzard is... like, Agrand already tweeted, and he said, like, you know, this is kind of just too much, right? He's like, it's kind of funny to see people not clearing it, but this is obviously too much. I get it, right? Yeah. So, like, he understands. SOD is not classic. SOD is made to... SOD is not retail either. Hardest part about this fight? Looks like resisting falling asleep. No pun about the boss abilities. Oh, good one.
Yeah, we did double shammers.
Oh, I see. I think that backfire is a tail swipe. And that's why nobody got knocked back. I wonder why the Voidwalker didn't get knocked back. Maybe it doesn't target pets.
I think it's the pets named Vasco.
It's actually insane, yeah. This isn't even a fight, it's just a spreadsheet. And also, like, by the way, there's nothing that's really going on here. It's just people that are spamming a rotation over and over. It's not really, like, it's not really a lot of gameplay here. Sod is meant to be an enhancement of Shaman? Yeah. Sod is Mexican Coca-Cola. It's not the original formula. It's not the current formula. It's the current original formula. Yeah, well, you know what? I like Mexican Cola. I think it's fucking great. I'm not complaining, okay? And this is all one fight. Like, I don't know how long I've been watching this.
No way.
What is this, like a fucking 10-minute fight? This is crazy. You just talk about leaving a dungeon locked for 1 week to cater to greet for FOMO. This unironically works like a nice middle ground to see what people are missing out on a raid to fuck them over week 1. Why would you want the raid to fuck over players? That's weird. Oh, everybody's dead. Oops.
What the fuck?
What the fuck? And so here's another reason why making classic raids really hard is problematic. Because if you look at, think of a pie chart, and one half of the pie chart is doing the boss, and the other half of the pie chart is doing everything related to doing the boss, like running back, buffing, clearing trash, etc. Classic WoW, if you're wiping over and over and over, you are going to be spending like 75% of your time running back and doing things that aren't doing the boss. It's so tedious. It's crazy. Eating food, using your buffs, having to farm for the buffs that you just lost. It's crazy. It's also expensive. Yes, it is. So this being hard just means the meta is going to be stricter for a while. Exactly, right? And that's also what happens, is that whenever you create something that's really hard, what you do is you make it to where people start gatekeeping like crazy. The harder something is, the more people will gatekeep for it. So, like, what's going to end up happening is that if you're not playing the top 5 or 10 best specs, you're not getting into a group. The raid will kill pugs. Yeah, this is not good. And I understand some people like to, they think it's good. They're like, this is awesome. Like, this is a hard fight. I like it. And I understand why people feel that way. But I don't agree. I don't think this is something that should be in Classic WoW. I think it's way too hard. I would be totally fine if Blizzard made a mode like this as a purely cosmetic mode, that the only thing that you get out of it is a title. You get, like, Conqueror of the Dream or something like that for completing this. Basically mythic, right? But there should be no gear attached to it. There should be nothing other than a title. Like, basically a Final Fantasy Ultimate, Because, like, that's not really part of the normal player gameplay experience, right? Maybe a mount. I think a mount might be too much. Maybe just a title. Like, I'd say just a title. Personally title, but, everybody's going to have a different opinion. So, yeah. Can't you combine it, make a more difficult raid in the first week, max 2, and then completely nerf it? No. I think that's weird. Why would you make the raid hard and then, like, did the Elden Ring need to do that? No. Like, they did nerf Radon, to be fair. But, besides that, no, they didn't. Like, and also, they buffed Radon after that. By the way, keep in mind, they buffed Radon after that. So, oh yeah, thanks for the host, man. I appreciate that. TGV, thank you very much, man. Why do people want nerfs? Balance before release? Yeah, balance. Here's a crazy concept. Balance the raid, and that way you won't have to do the same work twice. What? Oh, what? No! There's gotta be a way! Didn't in Elden Ring 50% of people not get past first boss? Yeah, but whenever I looked at the completion rates of Dark Souls 1 at equivalent boss times, it was actually kind of similar. But Margit definitely was the hardest entry-level first real boss that From Software games ever had. Anyway, yeah, so this is kind of disappointing that that Blizzard has released it like this, and they haven't really maxed it out or, like, you know, done it in a way that makes sense. But yeah, I think this is... I really hope Blizzard will be able to get this right, and they'll be able to understand why it's problematic to have raids that are this level of difficulty. You can see nobody has even gotten to the second to last boss. And you can also see very clearly that the fourth and the fifth boss, like, what's really the logic here, that 4 and 5 are so easy that basically everybody kills them, but then 3 is a lot harder. There's clearly some balancing problems here, and the raid is not properly tuned. So a lot of people are celebrating this and saying this is a good thing that the raid is so hard. No, it's not. No, it's not. Fucking go outside. Classic WoW is not for this, like, super hard PvE fucking sweatfest. If you want that, go to retail. Go to retail. You will find something that is way harder than whatever Sunken Temple is. This is a game for dads and, like, fucking casual players. WoW was successful back in 2004 because it catered to casual players. Why are we making raids? Like, these are people, this is what I said. I said, I know people have to circle talk about level of difficulty is good, but it's clearly overtuned. These guys that are wiping in the game play it for a living, and they've played it for 15 years. If they're not clearing it in the first few tries, imagine average players, yeah. And so it's the average 9 to 5 family dads. That's what Season of Discovery is made for. And also, like, are we going to talk about the fact that this raid is harder than Nax? I think what happened was Phase 2 came out, and Blizzard saw the player numbers go down dramatically. And because Phase 2 came out, and the player numbers went down dramatically, and I think the reason why is that Phase 2 didn't have the launch hype, number one. And number two, Gnomeregan wasn't as interesting or compelling of a raid because a lot of people don't really like it as much as maybe BFD or, you know, Sunken Temple. It's not as interesting. And number three, obviously, was that, well... Oh, no GDKPs, right? And so, like, you had a lot of people that were playing the game for GDKPs, and now they're not playing the game anymore. So, like, you have all these three reasons and variables that go into making Phase 2 lower participation. So what I think Blizzard did is they saw that and they were like, fuck, right? Oh, we messed up. And so we need to bring out the next phase quickly because players are leaving. So what I think happened is that they rushed the tuning for Sunken Temple, and they probably didn't tune the fight correctly because they didn't have enough time, because they felt like they needed to do it more quickly than what they should have.